My son found my will on my desk and read it without permission. He called me furious. You're leaving everything to charity. After everything I've done for you? You ungrateful old bitch. I was at my painting class. I said calmly, what have you done for me? He sputtered. I visit you. I take you to appointments. I checked my calendar. You've visited twice in 3 years. Both times to ask for money. He said, you're my mother. You owe me. I hung up. My painting instructor asked if I was okay. I said I'm wonderful. I just realized my son thinks watching me die is a part-time job that pays an inheritance. I called my lawyer that afternoon, changed the will to explicitly state why he was disinherited, for believing entitlement is the same as love. Before we continue, this fictionalized case study is based on documented estate planning disputes and disinheritance cases. According to the American Association of Retired Persons, approximately 60% of adults expect to receive an inheritance, but only 40% actually do. This examines the legal right to disinherit adult children and how to structure estate plans to reflect genuine relationships rather than perceived obligations. Now let me tell you my story. I was working on a watercolor landscape when my phone rang. Tuesday afternoon, 2 o'clock, my favorite painting class at the Durham Community Center. I'd been taking this class for 5 years, ever since my husband Robert died. The instructor Helen was a patient woman in her 60s who believed art was therapy. She was right. I was absorbed in blending blues and purples for a mountain sunset when my phone buzzed on the table next to my easel. Travis, my son. I almost didn't answer. Travis only called when he needed something. Money. Usually. Sometimes a favor. Never just to talk, but I picked up anyway. Old maternal habit. Hello? You're leaving everything to charity? His voice was so loud I had to pull the phone away from my ear. Several other students looked over. I stepped out into the hallway for privacy. Travis, what are you talking about? I found your will, on your desk. You're giving everything to some cancer charity? After everything I've done for you? My stomach dropped. You went through my desk. I'd left my will on my desk that morning. I'd been reviewing it with my financial planner the day before, and hadn't put it away yet. Travis had a key to my house for emergencies. That's not the point. The point is you're leaving me nothing. You ungrateful old bitch. Something shifted inside me. A clarity I hadn't felt in years. What have you done for me, Travis? What have I visit you, I take you to appointments. I check on you. I pulled up the calendar on my phone. Scrolled back through the past 3 years. According to my calendar, you've visited me twice in the past 3 years. Both times you asked me for money. That's not your forgetting. Which appointments have you taken me to? Name one. Silence. You're my mother. You owe me, I'm your son. That's my inheritance. The entitlement in his voice was staggering. I don't owe you anything, Travis. Goodbye. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. From something else, relief maybe. Or vindication. I walked back into the classroom. Helen looked at me with concern. Carolyn, are you all right? I sat down at my easel and picked up my brush. A smile spread across my face. Surprising me. I'm wonderful. I just realized my son thinks watching me die is a part-time job that pays an inheritance. Helen's eyes widened. Then she laughed. Oh my. That's quite a realization. It is. I mixed more blue into my palette. And I just decided I'm going to do something about it. I left painting class early and called my estate attorney from my car. Victoria Hayes had handled my will when Robert died 5 years ago. She was a sharp black woman in her mid-50s with a no-nonsense approach to law that I appreciated. Victoria, I need to change my will. Today if possible. What's happened? My son found my current will and called me screaming about being disinherited. He called me an ungrateful bitch because I'm leaving my estate to charity instead of him. I see. And you want to make the disinheritance explicit. Add a statement explaining exactly why he's getting nothing. I can see you at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Does that work? Perfect. I drove home, my mind racing with everything I wanted to say to Victoria. When I pulled into my driveway, Travis's car was already there. He was sitting on my front porch with his wife Amber. They both stood when I got out of my car. Mom, we need to talk. Travis's voice was calmer now, but I could see the tension in his jaw. No, we don't. You need to leave. I'm sorry, I yelled. I was just shocked. You went through my personal papers without permission. That's a violation of my privacy. Amber stepped forward. She was a slim woman in her early 40s, always dressed in expensive athleisure wear even though she didn't work. Carolyn, Travis is just hurt. He thought you'd want to take care of family first. Family takes care of each other while people are alive, not just when they're dead. Travis's face flushed. I do take care of you. Name one thing you've done for me in the past year that wasn't asking for money. He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. That's what I thought. Now leave. Both of you. And Travis, give me your key. What? Your house key, the one for emergencies. You've proven I can't trust you with it. Mom, you can't be serious. Key now. He pulled out his key ring with shaking hands and removed my house key. Dropped it into my palm without looking at me. This is bullshit. You're my mother. You're supposed to leave me your money. Goodbye, Travis. I walked past them into my house and locked the door behind me. Through the window I watched them get into their car. Travis was gesturing angrily. Amber was trying to calm him down. I didn't care. I went to my desk and looked at the scattered papers. Travis had gone through everything. My will, my bank statements, my investment documents. All of it was now spread across my desk like he'd been conducting an audit of my life. I gathered everything into a folder and put it in my bag. I'd take it all to Victoria's office. Victoria's law office was in a historic brick building downtown. Her practice specialized in estate planning and elder law. She met me in her private office, a space filled with dark wood furniture and framed certificates on the walls. I sat down and immediately started talking. I want to completely rewrite the disinheritance language. Make it crystal clear why Travis is getting nothing. Victoria pulled up my current will on her computer. Right now your will leaves your entire estate to the American Cancer Society in memory of Robert. Travis isn't mentioned at all. Correct. I didn't want to leave him anything, so I just didn't include him. That's actually a problem. If you don't mention an heir at all, they can contest the will claiming you forgot about them or were mentally incompetent when you drafted it. My eyes widened. Are you serious? Very. Children have successfully contested wills by arguing the parent accidentally omitted them. So what do? You explicitly disinherit him. You name him in the will and state clearly that you're intentionally leaving him nothing. Ideally you explain why. Can I do that? Just say he's a terrible son? Victoria smiled slightly. You can, but I'd recommend being more strategic about the language. Emotional statements like he's terrible or I hate him can be used to argue you were mentally unstable or acting out of spite. Instead, we state objective facts. Travis has visited twice in 3 years, both times requesting money. He has not provided care or support. He violated my privacy by accessing my personal documents without permission. I thought about Travis's screaming voice on the phone, the entitlement dripping from every word. I want to say something about entitlement. About how he thinks he's owed an inheritance just for being born. We can include that. Let me draft something and you tell me if it captures what you want to say. Victoria typed for a few minutes, then turned her screen so I could read. I intentionally make no provision for my son Travis Bennett. Over the past 3 years, Travis has visited me only twice, both times requesting financial assistance which I provided. He has not provided care, support or regular contact. When he discovered my estate plans, he responded with verbal abuse and invasion of privacy rather than respect for my autonomy. I leave him nothing because his relationship with me has been based on financial expectation rather than genuine familial care. I read it twice. That's good, but I want to add one more line. What's that? Travis has demonstrated that he believes entitlement is the same as love. It is not. Victoria looked at me for a long moment, then added the sentence to the document. Perfect. This makes your intentions absolutely clear. Now we need to protect this will from being contested, Victoria said, pulling up a new document. How do we do that? Several ways. First, we include a no contest clause, also called an interim clause. It states that if anyone challenges the will and loses, they forfeit any bequest they might have received. But Travis isn't getting anything anyway. That's why we're going to leave him $1. It proves we didn't forget about him. We intentionally chose to give him almost nothing. And the no contest clause means if he challenges the will and loses, he doesn't even get that $1. I laughed. That feels appropriate. It serves a legal purpose. It's called a nominal bequest. It defeats any argument that you forgot about him. Victoria continued typing. Second, I'm going to recommend you get a competency evaluation from a physician. If Travis claims you were mentally incompetent when you made this will, we'll have recent medical documentation proving otherwise. You think he'll do that? He's already shown he's angry enough to fight. We need to be prepared for every possible challenge. What else? We'll have the will signing witnessed by multiple people who can testify you understood exactly what you were doing. And I'm going to recommend we videotape the signing as well. Videotape it. You'll sit in front of a camera, state your name, the date, that you're of sound mind. You'll explain the key provisions of your will and why you're making these choices. It's powerful evidence if anyone tries to claim you were confused or coerced. My head was spinning. This seems like a lot of work just to leave my money where I want. It is, but Travis has already demonstrated he feels entitled to your estate. Entitled people fight. We're making sure he can't win. Victoria pulled out a notepad. I also need you to document your relationship with Travis. Do you have records of the times he's asked you for money? I keep a journal, and I have bank records showing the money I've given him over the years. Perfect. Bring those to our next appointment. We'll include a summary in the file. How much have I given him? I don't know the exact amount, but it's substantial. Over the past 10 years, probably $40,000 or $50,000. Victoria's eyebrows went up. And how much has he paid back? Nothing. He always says he will, but he never does. Document all of it. Every loan, every gift, every promise to repay. It establishes a pattern. Over the next few days, Travis called me constantly. I didn't answer. He left voicemails. I listened to them once, just to document his harassment, then deleted them. The first few were apologetic. Mom, please, I'm sorry I yelled. Let's talk about this. I didn't mean to call you names. Then they got more insistent. You can't do this. I'm your son. You have to leave me something. It's not fair. Then desperate. Amber and I have bills. We have expenses. We were counting on your help. You're being selfish. Then angry again. This is bullshit. You're punishing me for one bad phone call. For reading a piece of paper. You're being vindictive. I saved all the voicemails and sent them to Victoria. This is good, she said. Well, not good for you to deal with, but good evidence of his behavior pattern. Save everything. Travis also started showing up at my house unannounced. The first time I saw his car pull up and I simply didn't answer the door. He sat in my driveway for 20 minutes, then left. The second time he brought Amber. They knocked for 10 minutes. I watched them through the window but didn't respond. The third time he brought flowers, left them on the porch with a card. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Love, Travis. I threw the flowers in the trash without reading the card. He started calling my friends and family members trying to get them to intervene. He called my sister Linda. Aunt Linda, Mom's being crazy. She's leaving everything to charity. Can you talk to her? Linda, bless her, shut him down immediately. Your mother can do whatever she wants with her money. Leave her alone, Travis. But he kept trying. He called my cousin Joyce, my friend Denise from book club, even my neighbor Margaret. Some of them called me afterward to ask what was going on. I explained calmly each time. Travis went through my personal papers without permission, called me names when he discovered my will doesn't leave him money, and now he's harassing me. I have every right to leave my estate to whoever I choose. Most people supported me. You're absolutely right, Carolyn. It's your money. But if you thought I was being too harsh. He's your only child. Surely you should leave him something. I am. $1. That usually ended the conversation. Victoria arranged for me to see Dr. Marcus Webb, a geriatric psychiatrist who specialized in competency evaluations for estate planning. His office was in a medical building near Duke University. He was a distinguished black man in his early 60s with kind eyes and a gentle manner. Mrs. Bennett, I understand you're updating your will and want documentation of your mental capacity. Yes. My son is likely to challenge the will, claiming I'm not competent to make decisions. Tell me about your son. I explained the situation. Travis finding the will, his reaction, his harassment. Dr. Webb took notes without judgment. Then he began the evaluation. It was comprehensive. Memory tests where he'd say a list of words and I'd have to repeat them back. Then he'd ask me to recall them 5 minutes later. Then 15 minutes later. Reasoning tests. If you have 3 apples and you give away 1, how many do you have left? More complex problems. If a train leaves Durham at 2 p.m. going 60 miles per hour and another train leaves Raleigh at 2:30 p.m. going 70 miles per hour, questions about current events. Who is the president? Who is the governor of North Carolina? Questions about my daily life. How do you manage your medications, your finances, your household? Tests of judgment. If you smelled smoke in your house, what would you do? After 2 hours, Dr. Webb put down his notepad. Mrs. Bennett, you are completely competent. Your cognitive function is excellent. Your memory is sharp, your reasoning is sound, your judgment is intact. There is absolutely no evidence of diminished capacity, confusion, dementia, or impaired decision-making ability. Your understanding of your financial situation and your estate planning choices is clear and rational. You know exactly what you're doing and why. Relief washed over me. Thank you. I'll prepare a comprehensive report documenting my findings. If anyone challenges your competency, this report will be strong evidence that you were of sound mind when you made your estate planning decisions. A week later, I was back in Victoria's office for the official will signing. But this wasn't like signing a simple document. Victoria had set up a video camera on a tripod facing a chair. "We're going to record you explaining your will," she said. "This is powerful evidence of your intentions and your competency." I sat in the chair. Victoria started the camera. "Please state your name and today's date." "My name is Carolyn Louise Bennett. Today is October 15th, 2024. Are you making this statement of your own free will?" "Yes." "Has anyone forced you, coerced you, or unduly influenced you in making your estate planning decisions?" "No. These are entirely my own choices." "Please explain the main provisions of your will." I looked directly at the camera. "I am leaving my entire estate with the exception of $1 to the American Cancer Society. This is in memory of my late husband Robert Bennett, who died of pancreatic cancer 5 years ago. I am intentionally leaving my son Travis Bennett only $1. I want to be very clear about why." I took a breath. Over the past 3 years, Travis has visited me only twice. Both times he came to ask for money. He received a total of $12,000 during those 2 visits. He promised to pay me back. He has not. Travis does not call to check on me. He does not help with my household needs. He does not provide companionship or care. Our relationship exists only when he needs financial assistance. When Travis discovered my estate plans, he went through my private papers without permission. He then called me and verbally abused me, calling me an ungrateful old bitch because I'm not leaving him my money. He told me I owe him an inheritance simply because I'm his mother. He believes he's entitled to my estate regardless of our relationship or his behavior. I am leaving my estate to cancer research because I believe that money will save lives and honor my husband's memory. I am leaving Travis $1 because he has demonstrated that he values me only for my money, not for who I am as a person. Travis believes entitlement is the same as love. It is not, and I will not reward that belief with an inheritance. Victoria stopped the recording. That was perfect. Clear, calm, detailed, and completely rational. If anyone watches this video, they'll have no doubt you knew exactly what you were doing. Then came the formal signing. Victoria had brought in 2 of her law partners as witnesses. They sat with us as I reviewed the final will one more time. Everything was there. The bequest to the American Cancer Society, the $1 for Travis, the explicit disinheritance clause with its detailed explanation, the no contest provision. I signed on every marked line. The witnesses signed, confirming they'd watched me sign and that I appeared to be of sound mind and acting freely. Victoria notarized the document. "This will is now as legally protected as we can make it," she said. "You have video testimony explaining your reasoning. You have a competency evaluation from a respected psychiatrist. You have multiple witnesses to the signing. You have documented evidence of Travis's behavior pattern. If he contests this will, he will lose. And under the no contest clause, he'll forfeit even the $1. I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. "Thank you, Victoria, for taking this seriously and helping me do this right." "You're welcome, and Carolyn, you're absolutely doing the right thing. You don't owe your adult child an inheritance, especially when he's shown he values you only for money." I drove home feeling lighter than I had in years. For so long I'd felt guilty about the state of my relationship with Travis. Wondered what I'd done wrong as a mother. Why he only called when he needed something. But this process had shown me the truth. Travis's behavior wasn't my fault. It was his choice. I'd been a good mother. I'd raised him, supported him, loved him. I'd given him everything I could while he was growing up. Now he was 45 years old, a grown man, and if he chose to have a relationship with me based solely on financial expectations, that was on him, not me. I didn't owe him my estate as some kind of reward for being born. When I got home, there was a letter taped to my front door. I recognized the law firm name immediately. Travis had hired an attorney. I took the letter inside and read it. "Dear Mrs. Bennett, this firm represents your son, Travis Bennett. Mr. Bennett has retained our services regarding concerns about your recent estate planning decisions and your mental capacity. It has come to our attention that you are planning to disinherit Mr. Bennett despite his years of care and support. We believe this decision may be the result of undue influence by charitable organizations seeking to benefit from your estate. We are prepared to seek guardianship over you if necessary to protect you from financial exploitation. We strongly recommend you reconsider your estate planning decisions and restore your son as a primary beneficiary. Please contact this office within 10 business days to discuss this matter. I stared at the letter in disbelief. Travis was threatening to have me declared incompetent. He was going to try to get guardianship over me so he could control my money and change my will himself. I called Victoria immediately. Victoria read the letter over the phone and laughed. Actually laughed. This is absurd. You're not being unduly influenced. You're making your own free choices about your own money. Can they really try to get guardianship? They can try. They'll lose spectacularly. You have Dr. Webb's evaluation proving you're completely competent. You have video testimony. You have documented rational reasons for your decisions. No judge is going to grant guardianship over a competent woman just because her son doesn't like her will. What should I do? Nothing. I'll respond to this letter. I'll provide them with a copy of Dr. Webb's evaluation. I'll explain your legal right to disinherit anyone you choose. And I'll make it very clear that if they pursue frivolous litigation, we'll seek sanctions against them. Will that stop them? Almost certainly. Any competent attorney will see they have no case. Victoria drafted a response letter that same day. She included a copy of Dr. Webb's comprehensive competency evaluation, a legal citation explaining my right to disinherit adult children under North Carolina law, a summary of Travis's behavior pattern, the harassment, the invasion of privacy, the verbal abuse, a warning that frivolous guardianship petitions could result in sanctions. She sent it certified mail. 3 days later, Travis's attorney sent a brief response. After further review, our client has decided not to pursue this matter. We apologize for any misunderstanding. They backed down, Victoria told me over the phone. Once they saw the competency evaluation and realized they had no case, they retreated immediately. So it's over. This threat is over. But Carolyn, I want you to be prepared. When you eventually pass away and this will goes to probate, Travis will likely contest it. Even with all the protections we've put in place, entitled people don't give up easily. He may try to argue you were incompetent or that I unduly influenced you or that the charitable organization manipulated you. He'll lose. But he may try. I'm ready for that, I said. Let him try. 2 weeks after the threatening letter, my cousin Joyce organized what she called an intervention. I came home from grocery shopping to find 5 people on my porch. Travis, Amber, Joyce, and 2 of my cousins I barely spoke to. Carolyn, we need to talk to you, Joyce said as I got out of my car. About what? We're worried about you. I carried my groceries toward the door. I'm fine. Please move. Travis stepped forward. Mom, just listen for a minute. No, we think you're making decisions that don't make sense, Joyce continued. Leaving everything to charity when you have family makes perfect sense to me. Cancer research will save lives. Giving money to Travis will just enable his irresponsibility. My cousin Robert spoke up. But he's your son. Family should take care of family. I set down my groceries and looked at all of them. I took care of Travis for 18 years. I fed him, clothed him, housed him, educated him. I gave him everything I could while he was growing up. I've given him $47,000 over the past 10 years. None of it paid back. I've taken care of family plenty. Now my money is going somewhere. It will actually make a difference. Amber tried a different approach. Carolyn, think about your grandchildren. What grandchildren? Travis doesn't have children, but someday he might. Don't you want to provide for your future grandchildren? If Travis ever has children, he should provide for them himself. That's called being a parent. Travis's face was getting red. This is bullshit. You're being manipulated by that charity. They're probably sending you fancy brochures and making you feel guilty. Nobody is manipulating me. I'm making my own choices about my own money, which is my legal right. Joyce put her hand on my arm. Just reconsider, please. For the sake of family unity, I moved my arm away. This intervention is over. All of you need to leave, but now, or I'm calling the police for trespassing. They left slowly, some angry, some looking ashamed. As Travis's car pulled away, I heard him yelling at Amber through the open window. I told you this wouldn't work. I picked up my groceries and went inside. Family unity, I thought bitterly. Where was the concern for family unity when Travis was going through my desk, or when he called me an ungrateful bitch? or when he only showed up twice in 3 years. Family unity apparently only mattered when an inheritance was at stake. Months passed. Travis stopped calling, stopped showing up at my house, stopped trying to get family members to intervene. According to my sister Linda, he'd been telling people I was dead to him, that he'd written me off, that he didn't have a mother anymore. The irony wasn't lost on me. For 3 years he'd acted like he didn't have a mother except when he needed money. Now he was just being honest about it. I was sad, but not surprised. His reaction proved I'd made the right decision. If Travis truly loved me, my will wouldn't matter. He'd want a relationship with me regardless of what I left him. But he didn't. Because the relationship had always been transactional. I was an ATM, not a person. I continued my life. Painting classes every Tuesday, book club on Thursday evenings, volunteering at the library on Saturdays, lunch with friends, gardening in my backyard. I was closer now with the family members who'd supported me, Linda especially. We talked on the phone 3 times a week and met for lunch every Sunday. I had genuine relationships, people who cared about me for who I was, not what I had. And I had peace. For the first time in years I wasn't walking on eggshells wondering when Travis would call needing money. Wasn't feeling guilty for saying no. Wasn't being made to feel like a bad mother for having boundaries. The relief was immense. 6 months after the intervention, my phone rang with Travis's number. I stared at it for a long moment before answering. Hello, Mom. His voice was quiet, subdued. I need to talk to you. About what? Can I come over? Please? Just for a few minutes? Every instinct told me to say no. But curiosity won. Fine. 20 minutes. He arrived exactly 20 minutes later alone. No Amber this time. I let him in but didn't offer coffee or ask him to sit. We stood in my living room like strangers. What do you want, Travis? I want to apologize. I was wrong. I shouldn't have gone through your papers. Shouldn't have called you names. Shouldn't have tried to force you to change your will. I waited. There was always a but with Travis. I've been doing a lot of thinking about my life, about our relationship, about why I only came around when I needed something. And I was wrong. I was a terrible son. I took you for granted. Treated you like a bank instead of my mother. He looked genuinely ashamed. But I'd seen Travis perform before. Why the sudden change of heart? He sat down without being invited, putting his head in his hands. Amber left me, filed for divorce 3 weeks ago. She said I'm irresponsible with money and she's tired of my family drama. I'm sorry to hear that. I moved into a studio apartment. I'm working 2 jobs trying to pay off debt. I've been in therapy. He looked up at me. The therapist asked me to describe my relationship with my parents. I couldn't think of anything positive about our relationship in the past 10 years. Just times I needed money. That made me realize how selfish I've been. How I destroyed our relationship by only seeing you as a resource. I sat down across from him. What do you want from me, Travis? I want to try again. I want to be your son again. Not just someone who shows up when he needs something. Is this about the will? No. I mean, yes, I'm not going to lie and say I don't care about the money. But that's not why I'm here. I miss you, Mom. I miss having a mother, and I know I'm the one who ruined that. I want to fix it. I studied his face. He looked older, tired. There were lines around his eyes I hadn't noticed before. If you're truly sorry, you'll show me through your actions, not your words. I will. I promise. In Travis, the will stays as it is. Even if our relationship improves. My estate plans don't change. His face fell slightly, but he nodded. I understand. I don't deserve to inherit anything. I just want my mom back. We can try, but slowly. You've broken my trust. It will take time to rebuild it. I know. I'm willing to put in the time. Over the next year, Travis did something he'd never done before. He showed up. He called every Sunday evening, not to ask for money, just to talk about his week, his job, his therapy sessions. He visited twice a month, brought dinner, helped with yard work without being asked. He took me to doctor's appointments when I mentioned them, offering before I could even think to ask. For my 72nd birthday, he didn't ask what I wanted. He just showed up with a framed photo of me and Robert from our wedding day. I found this in storage. Thought you might want it restored and framed. I cried when I saw it. He met a woman named Lisa, and brought her to meet me after they'd been dating for 3 months. She was a nurse, grounded and practical. Nothing like Amber. Your son talks about you all the time, she told me. He's really trying to be better. I could see that he was, but I was still cautious. Old wounds don't heal overnight. Victoria noticed the change when I came in for my annual will review. I see Travis has been visiting more. Has he mentioned the will? Not once. He knows it's not changing. You're okay with that? Keeping the disinheritance even though he's been better? I thought about it carefully. Yes. Because this isn't about punishing Travis. It's about what I want my money to do. I want my estate to fund cancer research. I want something good to come from Robert's death. That matters to me more than leaving money to Travis. Plus, if Travis truly loves me now, it shouldn't be about the money. If he's only being a good son to get back into the will, then he hasn't really changed. And if he's being a good son because he genuinely wants a relationship, then the will doesn't matter. Victoria smiled. That's very wise. I learned it the hard way. Through 45 years of Travis taking me for granted and one phone call where he showed his true colors. Some lessons are expensive. This one cost me a relationship with my son for almost a year. But it taught me that I don't owe anyone my estate. Not even my only child. Today, almost 2 years after Travis found my will, I'm back in my Tuesday painting class. I'm working on another landscape, this time a beach scene. Soft blues and sandy yellows, blending together. My phone buzzes. Travis. I smile and answer. Hello? Hey mom. How was painting class? Good. I'm working on a beach scene. Want to see it when it's done? Absolutely. I'm actually calling because I'm making dinner tonight. Want to come over? Lisa's making her famous lasagna. I'd love to. What time? 6:30? Perfect. See you then. I hang up and go back to my painting. Helen, my instructor, smiles at me. Your son? Yes. Things better between you two? Much better. But it took hitting rock bottom to get here. How so? I think about how to explain it. About the will, the screaming phone call, the year of silence. The slow, careful rebuilding. I had to learn that I don't owe anyone my estate. That love shouldn't come with a price tag. That being a mother doesn't mean being an ATM. And Travis had to learn that entitlement isn't the same as love. Helen nods thoughtfully. Did you change your will, now that he's being a better son? No. The will stays as it is. Everything to the American Cancer Society except $1 to Travis. Because even though our relationship is better, I still want my money to save lives, to honor Robert's memory, to do something meaningful. If Travis truly loves me, he won't care about the will. If he only cares about the will, then he hasn't truly changed. Either way, I know I'm making the right choice. Helen smiles. Good for you. Too many people let their adult children manipulate them with guilt. I did that for years. Not anymore. I go back to my painting, adding white highlights to suggest sunlight on water. My phone buzzes again. This time it's a text from Travis. Can't wait to see you tonight. Lisa's excited too. Love you, Mom. I text back. Love you too. See you at 6:30. And I do love him. Despite everything, he's still my son. But love doesn't mean I owe him my estate. Love doesn't mean rewarding bad behavior with inheritance. Love doesn't mean letting adult children treat you like a retirement plan. I learned that the hard way. And I learned 3 things in the process that might help someone else facing the same situation. First, I learned the warning signs that adult children view you as an ATM instead of a parent, and why you shouldn't ignore those signs. The patterns were there for years before Travis found my will. He only called when he needed money, visited maybe twice a year, always with his hand out. When we did talk, the conversations always circled back to his financial problems. His car broke down, his rent was late, his credit cards were maxed out. Always a crisis that required my help. And after I gave him money, he'd disappear. Wouldn't call to say thank you, wouldn't check in to see how I was doing, wouldn't maintain contact until the next emergency. Over 10 years I gave Travis $47,000. He never paid back a single dollar. But the real warning sign wasn't the money. It was his reaction when he found out I wasn't leaving him my estate. He didn't ask why. Didn't try to understand my reasoning. Didn't respect my right to make my own choices. He immediately went to entitlement. You owe me. I'm your son. That's my inheritance. According to the American Association of Retired Persons, this is a common pattern. Adult children who view parents primarily as sources of money rather than as people in relationships. The warning signs include only calling when they need financial help, disappearing after receiving money, showing more interest in your assets than your well-being, asking about your will or estate plans, talking about their inheritance as if it's already theirs, getting angry when you spend your own money on yourself, pressuring you to preserve assets for family. If you're experiencing these patterns, you're not alone, and you're not obligated to reward this behavior with an inheritance. Second, I learned your legal rights regarding your estate, and why understanding those rights is empowering. I didn't know this before working with Victoria, but in most states you have no legal obligation to leave anything to your adult children. You can disinherit them completely. You can leave everything to charity, to friends, to a different family member, to your cat. It's your money and you get to decide. The only people you typically can't fully disinherit are your spouse in most states, and sometimes minor children depending on state law. But adult children no legal right to inherit. Travis thought I owed him an inheritance. He was wrong, legally and morally. However, Victoria taught me that simply not mentioning an heir in your will can backfire. They can claim you forgot about them or were incompetent. The better approach is explicit disinheritance. Name the person you're disinheriting. State clearly it's intentional. Leave them a nominal amount, like $1, to prove you didn't forget. Explain your reasoning using objective facts, not emotional language. Include a no contest clause so they forfeit everything if they challenge and lose. We also protected my will with a competency evaluation from a psychiatrist, video testimony explaining my reasoning, multiple witnesses to the signing, documentation of Travis's behavior pattern. All of this made my will nearly impossible to successfully contest. Know your rights. You earned your money. You get to decide what happens to it, and you have tools to protect your choices from entitled heirs. Third, I learned how to structure a will that reflects genuine relationships rather than perceived obligations, and why that matters. For years, I felt guilty about not wanting to leave Travis my estate. Society tells us we're supposed to leave everything to our children. That's what good parents do. But Victoria helped me understand that inheritance should reflect the relationship you actually have, not the relationship you wish you had. Travis and I didn't have a close relationship. He didn't provide care or support. He didn't maintain regular contact. He saw me as a financial resource, not a person. Why would I reward that with hundreds of thousands of dollars? Instead, I left my estate to the American Cancer Society because cancer research might save lives. It honors Robert's memory in a meaningful way. It aligns with my values. It will do genuine good in the world. That feels right to me. Much more right than funding Travis's lifestyle. And the $1 I left him, that's not punishment. It's clarity. It's me saying, I didn't forget about you. I chose this. And here's why. If Travis has truly changed, if his improved behavior over the past year is genuine, then my will shouldn't matter to him. He should want a relationship with me for its own sake, not because of what he might inherit. And if he's only being a good son to get back in the will, then he hasn't really changed and my decision to disinherit him was correct. Either way, I have peace. If you're struggling with similar decisions about your estate, remember, you're not required to leave anything to adult children who've treated you poorly. Inheritance is a gift, not an obligation. Your will should reflect actual relationships, not guilt or pressure. Explicit disinheritance with clear reasoning is legally stronger than just omitting someone. Protect your will with competency evaluations, video testimony and witnesses. No contest clauses discourage frivolous challenges. And most importantly, it's your money. You earned it. You get to decide what happens to it based on what matters to you. For comprehensive resources about estate planning rights, disinheritance laws in your state, and protecting your will from contests, see the links below. Choose clarity over guilt. Choose values over obligation. Choose genuine relationships over entitlement. Because I'm sitting here today at peace with my decisions only because I learned these lessons. Because I stopped feeling guilty about Travis's expectations and started honoring what actually matters to me. Travis thought watching me die was a part-time job that would pay an inheritance. He was wrong. And my will makes that crystal clear. For believing entitlement is the same as love. It's not. And it never will be. I'm Carolyn Bennett. I'm 72 years old. And I'm leaving my estate to cancer research. Not to my son because that's what I want my legacy to be. Thank you for listening. If this helps even one person stand up to entitled adult children, then sharing my story was worth it.